It has been how long's it been? January 2nd, 2021 was the last time I filmed a sit-down video for this channel. I'm so sorry. I've just had no motivation. So, here I am, back at it again with the uploads. Probably only upload in the year. I'm kidding. I'll try to come out with something. So, very rarely I have motivation to put content out on this channel specifically. Just, I don't know. Like, when it comes to stuff like this, you really need motivation to, like, I guess, bring content out. But recently, I have been taking a break from shows, and I want to talk about event burnout. So I've had a group of friends that have also been in somewhat of an event burnout, and my friend BB made a whole video on it, which again influenced me to make a video on this. So I want to talk about it in depth. So raving in the past year and a half has been kind of rocky, especially in like the Northeast, and bits and pieces of it have just led me to, I guess, stop going to shows. And I want to talk about my personal experience with event burnout and explain to you what it is. So to my left, I have an entire like outline set up for what to talk about in this video, because there are a bunch of points I want to talk upon, and if I didn't have it, I would stop talking and just get confused. So I think a good place to start is to talk about exactly what event burnout is. So type down, I have that event burnout is like the lack of going to shows and feeling somewhat burned out because of it. And for me, I put 3 subcategories that could kind of lead to this event burnout. I said lack of money, lack of energy, and lack of crowd etiquette, and they all go hand in hand with each other. So when it comes to lack of money, shows are just getting really expensive. They're very, very expensive. The quality will go down, but the price will go up. And it's just, is that worth really going to? Last year, I spent a lot on shows, and I didn't really go to much. I went to under maybe 7 or 8 shows, and they were all, I'm pretty sure, over like $40, $50. When I first started raving back in 2017, 2018, I remember going to a show at the King's Hall, which is a place in Avant-Gardner, for maybe under $30. It was not, there'll never be that cheap ever again. It's really unfortunate. Lack of energy, we're all getting older. I hate admitting it. I'm really not that old. I'm only 22. Like, the energy mixed with being out late, and then if you're employed or if you're like looking for a job, just being home at 6 in the morning, getting your however much sleep you need, and then just ruining your entire next day. It's just a pain in the ass. And depending on what genres you listen to, the shows can get extremely rowdy, like especially dubstep and bass. I love my bass, but sometimes those shows are just like way too intense for me. Like back when I was 18, 19, I was going to see Excision like multiple times a year, and it's just, the crowds are scary now. Like I watched clips from Lost Lands last year, and just, that's nuts. I don't know if I can do that. Like, I don't want to be perceived as like someone who like, I guess, can't handle it. It's just, it's nuts. The energy is crazy nowadays. And then lack of crowd etiquette, for me personally, is the big one. For those of you who have been raving for the past year and a half in New York, have known that, or maybe have noticed that the crowds just aren't good anymore. There's always going to be 2 sides to the situation. There's going to be the half that's like, oh yeah, something's wrong, like people aren't acting right, people are just being rude. And then the other half is like, oh, nothing's wrong, you're just like, I guess, overcomplicating it, or you're just overreacting. It's always going to have 2 sides. For me personally, I think COVID had a big effect on shows and festivals within 2021, 2022, and in the future. People like to go for the wrong reasons. When I first started raving, I went for the people that were playing at the show, and then nowadays people are just going for a night out, which I don't have a problem with. I think that's totally fine, but people just go in with the wrong intentions. They want to go to, I don't know, maybe drink, partake in party favors, just get messed up, and not even go for the acts that are playing. So leading on from that idea, the moment that I noticed that the crowds were a little off was last year. I forget what the date was. I think it was May. It was sometime in May of 2022. Slander decided to play at the Brooklyn Mirage. My friends and I love Slander. They're awesome. So we decided to go see them at the Brooklyn Mirage. If you've been before, you know, they have that whole new big wall, a whole new laser package, and it's just overall, they redid the balcony, and it was really cool, and they removed the little pillars, which was also a really big plus. And honestly, it was awesome. It was really cool to see like the new show. But the problem was when the headliners came on. So I don't want to be quick to make assumptions, but I feel that those shows are always oversold. They're always oversold. It's very crowded, especially on the floor. And then when you're up top, it could be a little bit crowded on the balcony. It depends what time of the day is. If it's like in the middle of the show, maybe not. But when the headliner comes on, it gets a little more crowded. Okay, now I'm just rambling. I gotta get to the point. So it was really crowded. Slander's show was very crowded. We were all on the floor for the most part. I think maybe somewhere on the balcony. The crowd was really sardined in. People were drunk. People were, I guess, doing whatever they wanted. And they were kind of just like wobbling, leaning onto us. And it was just, Really not a pleasant experience. Like, minus the show and the music itself, I didn't have a great time. And our group was relatively big. It was around, I think, 10 to 15 people, I would assume, because our group is pretty big. And we all had like a big circle. People would cut in and out without saying excuse me. It's just kind of people not having the general common courtesy to say excuse me and just have basic respect while going through the crowd. You know what I mean? Again, it's such a hard topic to talk about because everyone has a different viewpoint on the current like state of raving throughout the world, basically, or just throughout the United States, I guess you can say. And then 2022, I attended 2 festivals. I attended 1 day of EZU, and then I attended 3 days of EDC Orlando. EZU was fine. I attended the first day, and it wasn't too crowded. It wasn't bad at all. I mean, it wasn't really what I was expecting. It's on Randall's Island, for those who do not know, and they have like the island set up. I don't think they utilize the entire island, but they use a decent amount of it. But basically on day 1, I don't know if this is because it was day 1 of 3 or just, I don't know, there was no energy at all. So towards the end of the day, a lot of my friends branched off and went to the other stages, and I decided to stay at the main stage because I was only there for 1 day. I wanted to end off on the main stage because it had the most production. It was Slander into Porter Robinson, and I remember right after Slander, everyone left. Like, if I could find a video, I took a video on my phone where you could just see there's a giant pocket of just no one, and it surprised me so much because after raving for 4 to 5 years, seeing just a big empty pocket at a main stage just didn't exist to me. It was crazy. Now, EDC Orlando, I have a lot to talk about. So majority of my friends didn't go this year, I guess just for certain reasons, or maybe because of event burnout. But I went because it's the place where me and a majority of my friends from, like, I guess the West Coast would come to meet up in Florida. So the first red flag was that there was a hurricane that week. It was called Hurricane Nicole, and I think it hit Tuesday to Wednesday, while the festival was Friday to Sunday. So after booking my flight, it got canceled. It got canceled right away. I remember I was at my friend's house when it happened, so I immediately rebooked another flight. That one got canceled. And then a third one, that one got canceled. So all my friends and I were getting super duper nervous, and so we ended up getting a flight to Tampa, and then we had to Uber to our Airbnb in Kissimmee, Florida, which is, I think, south of Orlando? I don't remember. And the festival was super underprepared. I remember the day before, there were pictures on the subreddit of like tents knocked over, it was very muddy, there was a lot of rain. And I did cut them a little bit of slack because it was a hurricane. It hit right before the festival and they had limited time to what they could do. But it was a mean group of 8, we went for the weekend, and personally, I just didn't have a good time. Again, I hate saying stuff like that because then there's the people that are like, oh, you chose to have a bad time, blah, blah, blah. But no, I don't think so. It's just, there's different aspects. Like, the music itself was really good, but the production compared to 2021 and from what I've seen of 2019 wasn't there. I think Saturday was oversold. I remember just trying to go to John Summit at Neon Garden, and you cannot get there. It was very crowded. It was the shipment container design rather than the mega structure, which I think the mega structure might have been a bit better because there were entrances and exits in the front, middle, and back. I mean, same with the shipment containers, but I think the layout was just a bit better. So again, Saturday I think was very oversold. It was very complicated. There was entrances to and from the bathrooms where there were tiny little entryways where there were probably 30, 40 people trying to squeeze in and out. And it was scary. It made me a little anxious actually, and it just was not really suitable. So moving on, towards the end of the year, I watched all of my friends go to, Lost Lands, Ember Shores, other festivals, and I had zero FOMO. This is the moment where I realized I'm not really missing out. It sucked because I enjoyed having that FOMO sometimes. I loved seeing my friends have fun, and say if I was like limited for money, I would just go watch them and just enjoy it. But I cat sat for a friend while he was at Lost Lands, and I was watching the stream the whole time. And I'm just like, I don't like saying it because it's super duper sad, but I had no FOMO. It was very strange. This is the first New Year's in I think 3 to 4 years where I wasn't at an event. I was usually in Arizona for Decadence, but I just didn't have the funds to go this year. So now comes modern time, 2023, we're here, new year, new us. Did you do your New Year's resolution? I already broke mine. I don't want to talk about it. Anyways. So I'm still trying to determine what my current standpoint on events are for this year. There's the piece of me that still wants to go, but then there's the other piece of me that's shows are really expensive, the quality of the show isn't going up anytime soon, the crowds are just, I don't want to go deal with the crowds for how much you'd pay for a show, But despite being all disappointed on shows, there were a few shows last year that I really enjoyed. The 2 that I typed down were that I went to go see Must Die at VR World, and I saw Fatima Haji at Quantum Brooklyn. And those two shows were so fun. They were very small. One of them was in the basement of a VR arcade. I'm not joking. And then the other one was at Quantum, which is a smaller nightclub on the border of Brooklyn. Both had really good music. The crowds were super duper nice. There wasn't really any rowdiness. And honestly, it was such a nice change of pace from going to really big shows, say at like the Mirage or a bigger venue. So the most confusing part is talking about how we could fix this problem with the poor crowd etiquette. And honestly, the one thing we could do is just learn some basic respect. Go into these events with good intentions and go for the music. Don't just go for a party. That's what bars are for. I'm not a bar person. I just don't like the atmospheres, and I don't like the people that go to bars. I like going to places where people are there for the music and they want to go listen to the music, dance all night, and not have to worry about anything else. It's an escape. I've heard a lot of people say that before. Shows are considered an escape from reality. It sounds so stupid, but it's so true. Go into your events with the idea of being respectful and being treated the way you want to be treated. I think that would be an awesome solution to going into 2023 in regards to festivals and shows. So as of right now, I think I only have 2 shows planned for this year, just as of right now. I'm seeing Nina Kravitz on Saturday, and I'm seeing Charlie Sparks in February. I'm so excited. They're 2 smaller shows. I mean, Nina did just sell out, so I am a little bit iffy, but it's gonna be at a really unique venue. It's at this art exhibit in Brooklyn, like Bushwick area, I'm pretty sure. It's kind of like, have any of you been to Art Tech House? So Art Tech House is basically a giant room where they use project mapping to put stuff on the walls, on the floor, and on the ceiling. And I think it's gonna be at that place because at this venue, they have that type of event there, and they said it's gonna be an audio-visual experience. So crossing my fingers, it's something really cool because that's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime show for sure. And Charlie Sparks, I've wanted to see for a long time. He is based out of Europe, and I don't think he's ever come to the US once. I mean, he easily could have for something small, but I'm very excited to catch him. It's going to be a very somewhat underground show, a smaller show. And it's just these small moments that make me really excited for this year instead of, say, going to a bigger show, going to some smaller stuff, because it's just, I've had way much more fun at a smaller show than a bigger show. Also, I have no festivals planned for this year. As of right now, there are festivals I want to check out this year that I haven't gone to. I don't think I'm going to repeat any this year. Based on my experience last year, I don't think I'll be doing EDC. I would love to do Dream State. Dream State's on the top for me. Also, I might want to do Movement Detroit or some type of house techno festival. Maybe ARC? I've heard good things about ARC. I don't know, we'll see. This is one of those moments where I don't care if this gets put out to 4 people or 400 people. It's just nice getting to talk and get this stuff out and having a little log of it because so many people I know are going through event burnout right now, and it's super nice to know that it's not just me going through it. Because once I started settling down and not going to much, I thought I was crazy. 2019 fall, going to a bunch of events every month from going to almost nothing is just a super weird culture shock for someone like me, like a raver. Still keeping in touch with all of my friends is super duper nice. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. People are trying to move out. People are trying to do different things with their life. I'm on a job hunt right now for a full-time job. Please hire me, love you. And it's just super nice to be able to focus on that instead of having to go to a bunch of shows. It's basically replacing a negative with a positive. Getting a break from shows is super duper nice, like physically and mentally. I'm able to do my own thing, do the job search, as well as letting shows maybe try to fix themselves. That sounds really weird. I don't know how to say that. I love these sit-down videos so much. It's so nice to just sit down and just talk and not have really anything somewhat planned out. I have a little outline, but other than that, there really isn't much. It's like the non-professional videos that I really enjoy filming, and I get so much motivation just to film stuff like this, and I really hope I can bring out more stuff like this. I tried vlogging once. You saw my FK vlog. It did not go well. It rained all of day 1. I had a day 2 filmed and edited, but I didn't feel like putting it out. As a person that makes videos, I believe that if you don't want to put out something, don't put it out. Don't force yourself to do something that you don't want to do. Enjoy what you create, like videos like this. It's just so simple, and it's super nice to get to talk about something like this with you guys. As always, if you guys have any points you want to make, put them down in the comments. I love to read all of them. It's so cool to see that other people maybe having the same situation, have the same ideas that I have. I would scroll through TikTok, Instagram comments with people, and actually today I saw a TikTok about someone that had event burnout and how crowds are like getting a little bit scary. And as I said before, it's super nice that I'm reassured that other people are having this experience. Are we at the end? How long have I been filming? I think 2023, for me personally, is a year to get my shit together, figure out what I want to do with my life, and then go from there. I have some events to look forward to in the future. I'm excited. This Saturday is Nina. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I'm going with a friend that I actually had from high school, so I'm extremely excited. I think this is a good place to end it. I'm not good at ending videos, you kind of just end it off. So once again, if you guys have anything to talk about with event burnout or have any like points you want to make, put them in the comments and I will definitely look at them. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in like 2 years. I only film when I'm really motivated, and when I'm motivated, I tend to make better videos. So I hope to make more of this stuff in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later.